Welcome to this third module on foundations of management and entrepreneurship. Before I begin this module, I would like to chant a shloka which used to come at the beginning of Sanskrita Pathas by All India Radio in my olden days, way back in 80s or 70s. This is very universally applicable shloka which is going to give some insights into the aspects of management that we have been learning since last two courses. The shloka goes something like this. Keyuranina bhushayanti purusham harana chandrojvala nasnanam na vilepanam na kusumam नालंकृता मूर्धया वाण्यैका समलंकरोति पुरुषं या संस्कृता धार्यये क्षीयन्ते खलु भूषणानि सततं वाग्भूषणं भूषणं. The last word vagbhushanam bhushanam is nothing but the power of the word that we utter. Along with the word we emote, along with the word we gave our intonation, the stress and the strain we take to pronounce a word, and that word is having the real ornament to the humanity. If your words are like jewels or the ornaments to yourself, you would be really loving the world first of all from yourself, and the world will be loving you. Management lessons will have to take so much from our ancient wisdom. Unfortunately, our Bharatiyata is not going to be embedded as much as we desire, as much as we passionately look forward to. I hope through this kind of sessions you will evince keen interest. Please do Google search for this shloka and understand the meaning of that one, because to tell the meaning of this shloka itself it will take half an hour. The succinct and the essence of the shloka is that vagbhushanam bhushanam. The only jewel for the humanity is their words, the way they utter their words, the choice of their words, the intonations they use in uttering those words. And that is the reason management is all about common sense. Let us go back to the course. As has been the practice, let us look at the objectives of the chapter 2, understand the various functions of management, to gain conceptual clarity of various facets of management, to learn about the decisions, how they are made and implemented in organizations, and last but not the least, to know about how barriers and conditions of decision making process in their organizations. So, this is what in a nutshell our objectives for this chapter. As I mentioned earlier in the courses, I mentioned while discussing about planning, we need to know more about planning, because planning is a critical management function which needs to be understood in a broader perspective. Planning is a logical and intellectual process. Note this, in which there is a conscious determination of courses of action, the basing of decisions on purposes and considered estimates. This is what Kunz and Donnell mentioned it in way back in 2006. Dear students, you have your own plan for your life. You have your own plan even for the day that you are going to spend today. So, your planning process determines your results. So, planning has to be taken in a conscious manner, conscious determination of courses. I mean to say, what kind of courses, what kind of actions are going to be taken for that. You must have conscious decision making process in place. The basic characteristics of planning include: planning increases the organizational effectiveness, as I mentioned earlier also. So, it has to include an element of enhancement of organizational effectiveness. If planning is poor, it will actually reduce the organizational effectiveness. If planning is intellectual, based on data, empirical data, as was mentioned earlier, planning will certainly enhance the organizational effectiveness. Every year planning thereby enhance the organizational effectiveness every year. And planning, when you plan, you anticipate things, you foresee what is going to happen, you at least will have a guesstimation. Guessing and estimation put together is called guesstimation. You guess what is going to happen. So, you try to avoid the risks. For example, when you travel by one particular route, you are going to get delayed, or the roads are very bad, your vehicle may get stopped, or such kind of things will happen. Then what will you do? You look for a route which may be longer, but the speed may be very high and the time will be very less. So, you have to choose a way which is based on information. For example, today you will find in the Google Maps congested. This route is congested, that route is free, and the traffic is jammed over there, and you will find all kinds of information. So, human life has become a part of planning. Every day planning is happening, every moment planning is happening. You cannot de-link planning from your life. Planning makes use of the resources and available time for organizational effectiveness. Relate everything with yourself, because organizations will have employees, employees will have families, and there is something called work-life balance. A person may be different at home, may be different in the organization, but the qualities of a person will remain same. If he is detail oriented, if he is humanistic, I mean very humane, very considerate, if he has active listening skills at home, he will also reflect the same thing in the office. So, planning will also understand what kind of a person we are taking at the time of recruitment. The basic characteristics of planning include: step 1, establishing objectives. It is this step that managers establish the objectives of the organization. For example, the admission team of a university set up a target of registering a particular number of students for a specific academic year for a particular course, even for that matter. Why? Because if those number of students are enrolled, the cost will be optimal. If the less number of students have enrolled, you will not be able to break even the cost. I mean to say that whatever you spent, at least it should be able to match with whatever you are getting in terms of students being giving the fee, admission fee and things like that. So, your resources utilization, whatever amount you spent on those resources, and the teaching faculty you have had and you have hired them, you have to pay them their salaries, all these things will have a cost factor. You have to look at that one. Step 2, identifying the real problem. Organizations are full of problems. I will tell you, you name one organization which does not have a problem. You name one family which does not have a problem. Even though the family may be having probably stinkingly rich, still they have a problem. The reason is that human brain is not satisfied or contented with what it has. It has aspirations. It wanted to achieve something more. Except the people, even for that matter, suppose if you are a yogi, if you are a seeker, spiritual seeker, you want to elevate your, the kind of bliss you are enjoying. You want to have more bliss. Bliss has absolutely beyond the happiness. You will enjoy the bliss of it. So, you would like to intermittently maybe enjoying, you would like to have it continuously. Some people will have continual, then you want to make it continuous. So, there is always a goal. Even for a seeker in the spiritual knowledge, speaker of the spiritual knowledge, he has or she has got her own or his own goal. So, you must have some goal. To achieve that goal, you will certainly will have problem. So, you have to first of all identify that problem. Planning will help you do that kind of a thing. Identifying the real problems, the second step in the planning process, and it involves a clear understanding and idea on where the organization is headed to or is going to end up. This is what the planning will be happening. and you will see a logical flow of planning in the diagram, which is self-explanatory. The basic characteristics of planning also include step 3, collecting, analyzing the information. Today organizations are data driven, and you will find big data analysis, data analytics. There are courses which are being offered by various institutions like BBA Business Analytics, MBA Business Analytics, and you will find, even for that matter, it's bachelor courses, BCom with the Business Analytics. Why not? So the world is driven by data. The more the data we have, which is authentic data, which is empirically verifiable data, then the more realistic your planning would be. So step 3 is collecting that kind of a data. Step 4, planning process and identifying alternative courses as to how to move from their current position to the point of success or ultimate goal. In this step, we develop an action plan that deals and details what has to be done, when, how, and by whom. You will have excellent details charted out over there. Who is accountable for what, who must do what, when he should do, how he shall do. This kind of details are required. The course of action determines how we will get from our current position to our desired future position. Planning is nothing but a journey from where you are to where you would like to be. That means that from the present to the future you are having a journey, and this journey is bridged by your flawless planning process. So when your planning process is effective and driven by the empirically verifiable data, and you are bound to get your results, which means you are bound to reach your destination. The basic characteristics of planning include the 5th step is identifying alternative course of action, plan A, plan B. If plan A fails, plan B shall be in place immediately. You should not evolve plan B then and there. No, it should be readily available. You must have plan A, plan B, plan C for your planning actions. Then you, for example, after BBA in rural management is such a subject that I do not know, for over the period of time probably governments will also consider taking people from this stream of management, that they are best suited for various village level positions. Rural management has got so much of applicability and value because India is basically a rural country. It is now becoming urbanized, but instead of that one, we still remain majority of our population lives in rural areas. So when you plan your action after completion of this course, what kind of future you would like to have, what kind of career you will have to have, you must have plan A, plan B, plan C. 6th step is evaluation of the alternative courses of action. What is plan A? What is plan B? What is plan C? What are the end results of this one? After my BBA RM, I would like to become a bank employee. I would like to join a bank employee and work in a rural area, and probably working for a Grameen cooperative bank, where I will be giving my services to the people with the proper understanding of the rural realities. Fair enough. If that fails, what is the next course of action? What is the next course of action if that also fails? So these are all the things which you need to look at it. Through the controlling function, managers observe ongoing human behavior and organizational activity. If they observe unexpected and unwanted deviations, they make corrections, which means life is not so certain, my dear friends. Life is full of uncertainties. Somebody says life is predetermined, but who determines that one? It's a philosophical issue all put together, but it is predetermined. That mystery is not known to you. How it is determined is not known to us. We have to travel and find out how it is going to be, because until and unless we start traveling in the life, we start making efforts, we will never be able to realize what is the ultimate reality. Okay. 7th step is selecting the best course of action out of plan A, plan B, plan C. Which one you would like to start? Plan C, then plan C will become plan A. You prioritize plan C as plan A, then B and A will become B and C. That's how you prioritize, you look at things, you observe things, you evaluate things, you encounter problems, you solve problems and go forward. Eighth step, follow up action. You have to have follow up actions. Follow up is now I would say that a critical function all these days, because you will have account managers. Say for example, you have a set of clients and the bank will have set of clients. There is an account manager for a set of clients. This account manager will always be in touch with the clients and he will try to ensure that recoveries are made. I mean to say that bank has lended some amount to these clients and they have to pay EMIs. When there is a delay in the EMIs, the account manager will go there and do the follow up action. This is what is called follow up. So you will have a follow up action at an organizational level also, where the managers or the chief executives or C-suite positions people will be doing the continuous follow up. Planning is the process by which managers establish goals and define methods with which these goals can be achieved. The importance of planning can be realized with the concerted efforts to do regular follow up. You must have that kind of a thing. And you see the process of planning, and this picture is self-explanatory. Process is really, management process is really a robust concept. It is evolving and it has been evolving since we talk about management process. Planning has got several types: operational planning, tactical planning, strategic planning. In the entire planning process, you will have three circles with overlaps: people, processes and products or services. People and processes communicate with each other to create a product or a service or render a service. That's how things will be happening. Operational planning is an action plan for the day-to-day operations of an organization. Say for example, a tire making company is there. How many tires to be produced per day to optimally utilize the mission time available and the manpower available? There is a planning for that. So many people, so many missions, so many tires, you will have that kind of a thing. So operational planning is nothing but minutest details you have to get into that one. Industrial engineering will be doing this kind of a thing. Industrial engineering is doing an operational planning, and there is a separate functional team like operational excellence. How do we excel the operations of the organization? Only when it is possible to understand what kind of operations are happening, how they are happening, why they are happening, what are the people who are doing those operations. So it is a very complex, at the same time simple and logical and commonsensical process. An operational plan is very important, and it acts as the basis and justification of the budgetary requirements from functional units for the annual operating budget outlay. So all these things are linked to the operational planning. You have tactical planning. Tactical plannings are basically tactics or the means needed to activate a strategy and make it work. Tactical plans are for specified periods like daily basis, weekly basis, fortnightly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis or annual basis, based on the end result to be accomplished. Because if you feel that annual results are sufficient to monitor, to make corrections, fair enough. If you feel that annual results are going to delay corrections, so you must have half yearly. And if you further feel that half yearly results are also too long, because after doing the work for 6 months you are reviewing it, no, it's not good, so let us do quarterly. Quarterly results are also too long because you must have committed several mistakes. So you will find in every organization monthly review meeting. monthly review meeting, sometimes these review meetings unfortunately are not conducted in a way which will motivate the people, but they are causing so much of stress and strain, and there are some issues where people are even getting coronary conditions because the stress is built up so much that, you know, because he was not able to achieve the numbers which are given to him, so he has to face the music, so he will be having some sort of a stress and some sort of a tension within him, and it is causing so much. So review meetings, monthly review meetings shall be conducted in a manner that which are going to encourage people accept realities. When there is a failure will happen because, you know, to err is human. We are not gods. We are not you know, omnipotent and omnipresent kind of an entities. We are dependent entities. There is only one independent entity. That's all. We have to live with the reality. So we have to understand that to err is human, and when you commit the mistake, you are opening a door to not to repeat it and learn from that one. So tactical planning is really giving us a kind of an insight into this one about goals. These are the tactics that we use, action steps that we do, and we have resources. Regarding resources, what is the tactical plan, what is the deadline, how do we set the deadline, and who are the people responsible for that. We have to have everything in place. That makes planning a tactical in nature. There are strategic plans. As I told you earlier, strategy is for a specific purpose. These plans are the long term planning designed for the entire organization and begin with the mission of the organization. Even for that matter, when you look at strategy maps of the organization in the balanced scorecard, which you will be learning over a period of time in your course, strategy maps are drawn from vision mission. Strategy planning is the formal planning for the future and help the company to define the following. What are the things? What does it do? For whom the organization work? How can the organization achieve success? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the company? What are the personal values of the key implements, that is management, on the board, which need to be represented and reflected in each and every action of the employees? What are the opportunities and threats in the industry in which the company is operating? What are the broader societal expectations from the company? You have established a company like pharmaceutical company. The societal expectations from the pharmaceutical company is that the company is not adding any more pollution. The company must treat its effluents well. Company shall not corrupt the water table by polluting the water table, by sending the water down into the ground. You are creating a havoc. So the companies will have to be socially aware of these complexities and compulsions. Types of planning, you will have strategic planning, as I mentioned to you. We can see that three important components in the strategic plan: mission and background of the company, goals and objectives, directly responsible individuals. They are called DRIs, which employees or managers are responsible for these organizational goals. You have to have a meticulous flow of information. You remember very well, in the process of recruitment, if a company gives a very clear job description or a role description, sometimes some companies even give in the job description what is the reporting structure, whom do you report to once you join. If you are selected, you are reporting to whom, who are the people reporting to you. This gives a very clear understanding for the person and the candidate to apply for a job. So I would say that this planning is a part of every management function. Every management function, every task you must have a plan. Otherwise your planning will go, without a planning, if you do actions, you will have problems. You will incur more loss. Model for the strategic management process which I mentioned to you over here is that, you have a vision, mission statements, you have external environment, you have internal environment, which means you have limitations here, limitations out there, which means in the society. You have to establish long term objectives. Then you have to generate, evaluate and choose strengths, implement the strategies, then measure and evaluate the performance. You have to do that one. So you have a strategy formation up to generating and evaluating the various choices. Once you do the strategy implementation, you will feel the feedback, you will get the feedback. Once it is done, you will do the evaluation of the strategy, whether the strategy A is good for the company or not. Then you go for strategy B, you will implement that one. So, it is a continual learning process. How many of you have learnt about SWOT analysis? These days it is being talked more prominently, even in personal counseling. It is being talked about. As a person, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats? So, this is a kind of a SWOT analysis. Strategic planning will also involve in that one. Strategic planning has 9 important steps and they are listed below. You can see that one: planning awareness, formulating goals, analyzing the external environment, which I discussed at length, analyzing the core and internal environment, identifying strategic opportunities and threats, performing gap analysis. I mean to say, in the performance gap analysis. I would say that in the performance of tasks, there is some gap available. Why it is available? Because the skills are not up to the work. People may not be having the requisite skills. So, what will happen is that in the process of doing a job, all skills are required. Suppose 10 skills are required. A person has got only 10. Then no problem, there is no gap. If he has got only 8, there is a gap of 2 skills. Because of that, performance is lacking. It is not expecting, it is not reaching the expected levels. Okay? Developing alternate strategies, implementing strategy, then measuring and controlling the progress. Dear students, this planning process is an internal process of an organization as well as persons. So, there has to be a performance plan at the individual level, there has to be a performance plan at a team level, there has to be a performance plan at the functional level, there has to be a performance plan at the organizational level, and these plans will have to seamlessly get integrated, so that each plan is linked to other plan. What are the barriers to effective planning? Why planning gets blocked? Why planning is failed? Why planning is not able to achieve the desired results? Where does planning fail? Inadequate planning itself is a block. When you do planning, you must touch all aspects. Some people will have a tendency, this is under my control, no, don't worry, I will do it. No, sorry. Though it is under your control currently, it may go out of your control over a period of time. You need to consider everything, every aspect in the planning. You cannot just give a lenient view towards one particular aspect. So, inadequate planning is that kind of a planning where the planner is lackadaisical, I mean careless, or if he is overconfident. You will come to know about it more. Failure of the management team to maintain commitment. You have a plan, but you do not have a team to commit to that plan. What will happen? Nothing will happen. Plan will remain as a plan, it will be there in the shelves. Okay? Then inferior information. You have planned with very less information. There is no authentication. You have collected only few samples. No. If you are not building your plan based on the realistic data, empirically verifiable data, then your planning will go for a toss. Failure in identifying niche market. What is niche market? Niche market is that market where the companies will get more advantage and more surplus and more margin, more profit. The company has got a unique capability to cater to that niche market. Say for example, you have a cement plant. You produce cement specifically to meet the requirements of airports. You have a special grade cement specifically made for making the runway or airports or carriageway for for the buses to fly over, to take the passengers from the airport to the airbus or the aeroplane. Or you have a road technology which is going to help you lay roads, runways. You are superior in that, and you have a niche technology whereby you will be building metro lines. For example, Hyderabad Metro, L&T. Why L&T was awarded that project? Because L&T came out with a qualitative and very cost effective proposal in its tender document, saying that I will be able to do this job and give a structure which is going to long last. So, it has been selected. So, niche markets are those markets where company's capability matches with the requirement of the market. Okay. Failure in analyzing and understanding the business environment and socio-political economic factors. As I told you right from the beginning itself, organizations exist in society. They are not existing in isolation. They are not islands. Organizations will have to interact with the society. They produce goods for the consumption of the society. They produce services or design services or render services for the consumption and the utilization of the people. Concentrating on controllable variables. There are variables which are controllable, there are variables which cannot be controlled because they are controlled by external factors. For example, rain cannot be controlled. You cannot control rain when it comes. You cannot control temperatures. You never know when sun is going to shine well. So, this kind of conditions which are variables which are beyond your control, you cannot control, but there are variables. How much electricity you can consume? You can control. You can plan very well in such a manner that you do some electricity audit, power audits, thereby you eliminate wastage of power consumption and achieve a maximum and optimum utilization of the power. Maximum faith on planning department. My planning department in an organization must have credibility. Otherwise, organizations will not implement the plan and teams will not have commitments towards the plans. So, a planning department is nothing but a reflection of the management's philosophy, values, mission and vision statements. So, you must have a very professional planning department and each member of the department is respected because of the credibility, because he speaks with data, he speaks humanely, I would say that, and he is for helping the organization implement the realistic plans. Let us discuss something about management by objectives, because planning also is a process by which performance of the organization, individuals are measured. Management by objectives is a term coined by the management guru Peter Drucker way back in 1954. I have not born, I am 1965 born. So, you can understand the grasp of issues during that time itself. Management by objectives is a very well coined I would say acronym, because or abbreviation, because which is really guiding, which guided many organizations in the past, and it is still giving some insights into various processes like balance scorecard and other things, because from there only other concepts evolved. What are the basic features of the MBO? MBO implies planning and goal setting. It is a joint effort. It has to align with the organizational goals and objectives. So, a person goal will have to be, as I told you, seamlessly integrated. What are the steps in the MBO? Very simple. These are all very simple steps. If you look at the MBO cross section, vision, mission, tactical plans, and you have a management by objectives, you have operational plans, standing plans, single use plans. These are all the various levels. At the top levels, you will have vision and mission. At the middle managers, you will have tactical plans, management by objectives. At the first level managers, you will have operational plans, standing plans, single use plans, which means this plan is only for example, you have to maintain one particular mission. You have to put under a preventive maintenance. You do that one in a planned manner, you complete it, there ends the matter. The planning is over, implementation is over, the plan is no more available. That is how it has to be looked at. So, outlining the organizational objectives, derived from the mission vision of the organization, translation of organizational objective into SMART performance goals. You know what is SMART? Specific, measurable, acceptable, realistic and time bound. What is acceptable? You may have excellent things, specific things, it is measurable, it is realistic, it is time bound, it is not acceptable. Why? Because you want to bribe another organization to sell your products, which is not acceptable according to the values of the organization, or you want to bribe a government officer and deviate from one particular norm and get the things done. This is not acceptable. So, there are acceptable performance goals you need to set for yourself. Participation of employees in goal setting, it has to be there, otherwise the goals will become only paper limited goals, it will be remaining in the paper only, and monitoring the progress of the employees. These are all the steps in MBO. What did we learn from this course is what is planning, types of planning, and what is strategic planning, what are the factors implementing planning, and what is briefly about MBO. That is what we learned. Dear students, have a nice day. Thank you.